Welcome back to the Sanford Edible Garden Trail 2021. We've taken a long break over the summer. For any locals, you'll know that it's pretty hot up here over summer. So we waited to the first feeling of cool autumn air, which was yesterday. And here we are visiting our first garden. We've decided to come back to one of our local growers and one of our favorite places to visit, which is Millen Farm. And we've chosen Millen Farm because Millen Farm has had this huge revamp over the summer. So we thought we'd come back. We're going to talk to Arran, who most of you will know if you've seen any of our other videos where we've come to Millen Farm. But we'll also be talking to a couple of other farmers, Liam and John, who have joined the team at Millen Farm. But let's start with Arran. We're actually going to start where we finished the tour last time, which is right in the thick of
this beautiful tree system.
This tree system, windbreak,
swale, you name it, does everything.
Yeah. We thought we'd start here because even this has grown, right?
It definitely has,
yeah.
Definitely has. And the understory's all going in now. Remember we talked about those mushrooms last time,
yes.
How we inoculated, so you can see the mushrooms all coming up down through the bottom down there now.
Gonna have a look. So we've got Vanessa filming.
Absolutely beautiful.
Okay, so anyone that didn't see the previous video, those mushrooms, where have they come from?
Yeah, so we inoculated those from mushroom buckets that my friend's growing in my shed at my house.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was the leftover compost.
Leftover compost,
yeah,
you betcha. So we're very lucky to see that mycelium start. Yeah,
okay.
Very
Are
cool.
you growing it to eat? Because I know people are going to wonder, is that to eat or is that?
We could eat them, but we don't eat them. We're just growing it for the mycelium.
Okay.
Yeah. The extra boost to the tree system for sure. Yeah.
Well, it's nice to see how this is growing.
Definitely.
And it's changing.
Oh man.
And can you tell us about what's been happening over summer?
Oh wow. It's a full revamp here at Millen Farm. We've changed now. If you want to spin around, we can have a look at the market garden. What we've done now is completely transition the market garden to international market garden standards.
Okay, let's just we'll walk this way.
Sure. No worries. So you can see now we've absolutely transitioned to absolute abundance here on the field. We've removed all the grass paths. We've got all of our beds now at international market garden standard 75 centimetres. And the reason why we've transitioned to this way of this modern way of thinking is because of all these brand new market gardening tools. So we've got the 5-row Cedar, we've got the salads greens harvester, and of course we've got the tilther. The tilther's become our main tool here on the farm, Suzanne. We've gone zero till or no till here on the farm, so no machines have been brought onto the field since we shaped the beds back in December. So everything now is hand weeded, flame weeded, and of course we use the tilther as well. So we've completely transitioned the farm from what it was before to a completely modern new way of thinking about market gardening.
Okay, and what prompted you to make those changes?
Well, we've seen a lot of changes in market gardening, especially in America, to do with these new age market gardening tools. I think that profitability, maneuverability and flexibility all comes from being able to use these tools here on the market garden. So a complete transition and way of thinking in your mind.
Okay, so you've got this sort of more efficient model.
Super efficient,
yeah. And
fast rotations.
More? Okay, so it's about fast rotations.
Fast, yeah.
And have you been able to grow more in the space?
Definitely,
is that the idea?
Definitely. So you can see with the 5-row Cedar here, we're putting in the 10-row lettuce mix. Down here we're putting in the radish and the turnips as well with seed. We've got carrots going in with seed as well. And then we do a lot of seedlings as well. So we've got the lettuce, the coriander, the Asian greens, the eggplants, capsicums, chilies, basil, parsley, the cucurbits, the zucchinis, the cucumbers. We've got the cabbage, the cauliflowers, the bell peppers, and the banana capsicums all coming on beautifully. We've got some rainbow chard down the bottom as well. So you can see we've really mixed up the abundance here on the farm and shaking up the crop cycles, moving to a really large, diverse amount of crop cycles. A lot of that fast turnover stuff.
Really interesting. And that's growing a lot of, like you said, way more diversified than when we visited before.
Yeah, definitely. And also standardising across the field as well. Growing things on big quantities now, so we can start hitting those big markets, Food Connect, Spray Free Pharmacy, and all those big ones that we've always wanted to be able to hit in the past.
Right, so it's about how you're actually able to sell the produce.
Definitely.
So that's another driver behind why you've done it.
For sure. The markets are quite a fluctuating market, whereas Food Connect and Spray Free Pharmacy, they put in their orders every week and it stays quite consistent. So we can really build up a good crop regime, a good crop cycle, built around using those large manoeuvrers of big amounts of produce.
Right, because you know they're going to buy it.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're still doing farmers markets?
We still are. Yes, we still are. We've moved to a new spot here just at the farm. So we're from 2 to 5 on a Friday now. So it's a complete change as well from day. Still the same time, but we've changed the day. We think that moving on to a Friday will be able to help us transition into a night-time period of markets where we can sort of maybe transition to food stores or something. I think it gives us more options that Friday night.
And it sounds like you're going to have a lot of variety now. So,
definitely.
Okay, so if you haven't been to the markets for a while, it's worth coming back because it sounds like they're quite different what you can offer.
Definitely. Yeah, we grow a lot of food here on site now, and we don't buy in as much as we used to.
Great.
Definitely.
One of the things I always loved about visiting you at Millen Farm, and also when we visited you at Powerful Owl, your other farm, was just seeing this huge diversity that existed within it. Rather than this market garden where there's like one crop. You've kept that diversity and all those permaculture principles here.
Definitely. I think having separating the Asian greens from each other and separating lettuces, separating the different crop cycles away from each other also allows that if we have a crop damage with aphids or something in one row, they're not going to skip down 5 or 6 rows and jump on those next Asian green rows. So trying to keep that cycle happening up all the way through the field.
Sounds like you're evolving and learning and
definitely.
Like
always.
Gardeners.
I don't think I'll ever stop.
Okay, just before we go and meet the other farmers.
Yeah, sure.
What is this?
So this is the salad green harvester.
Okay.
So once again, a lot of these market gardening tools from America are transitioning to drill-based systems. So you can see the tilther is based on the drill. This is the drill as well. So the greens harvester slides underneath the greens. I won't chop any out because Liam will get angry with me. But it just slides underneath the greens and harvests them out, flicks it into the back of the bag, and then we can dump that into our boxes.
So is that taking the plant out right at the roots? Is that the top, or is it cutting?
So just above the roots. So we're trying to keep it so that we can grow it for 2 weeks in a row.
And then keep cutting it.
Keep cutting it, yeah. So we try and get 2 cuts out of it. A lot of the times we only get 1 out of it, but we're trying to head for getting that 2 cut out of it. Yeah.
That looks.
Super time saver. Because originally the market gardener,
they
had to chop it all by hand. Yeah, chop it all by hand. So this thing, I could charge that whole field in like 5 minutes. Yeah, it's super cool.
This looks great. And and this is the Cedar.
Yeah, the 5-row Cedar.
Yeah. So we saw something like this. We visited Jackie at Blue Dog Farm.
Yeah, she's got the single row Jang. Yeah. So this is the big beefed up version of the Jang, I suppose, the 5-row.
We were impressed.
Yeah. Oh, this is even more impressive.
Would it be overkill if some of us home gardeners got these?
You can always give it a crack. I know flame weeders are popular.
Oh yeah. Okay, I think it's time. Let's meet the rest of the
let's bring them on.
team.
Come on, guys.
Well, hello, Liam and John. Now you guys are with the Mini Farm project.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell us what is the Mini Farm project, and then let's check out a little bit about what you're actually growing.
The Mini Farm project, basically we try to use underutilized spaces to grow food for those in need.
Okay.
So at the moment we're freely giving away 50 kilos of food per week to Meals on Wheels from the site. Essentially one of the 3 blocks on the field one of the further block over on the far side is all for Meals on Wheels.
Okay, so we'll just scan there for a minute because our mic won't pick you up. Okay, so actually let's go down here. Might be easier to see it. Okay, Liam, can you just run me through again? So how's the farm laid out?
So in essence, but over here, this is Arran's block.
Okay.
And then this middle one is what we grow to try and pay our wages and cover costs.
Okay.
And then the furthest block over there is essentially all for charity.
Wow.
It goes directly to Meals on Wheels.
Okay, and are each of these blocks the same?
In essence, the top part of each field is basically a replica of the other.
Right.
So that we can give Meals on Wheels the same, but also so if we have any issues, we've got that bulk in the field to be able to continue meeting our orders to customers.
Right, so that's your motivation for it.
Yeah.
So you're combining
Definitely.
what you're growing.
100%, yeah.
Okay, has that made a big difference that you're just getting more bulk?
It's made a huge difference. Yeah, huge difference. Not only having the extra farmers on the field, it's made us so much more less reliant on education programs, less reliant on volunteers. Now that we've got the free farmers on the field, we're pretty much self-sufficient here on the farm. So there's no need to we still love to have volunteers come along, but we're not reliant on those volunteers and those education programs anymore. Yeah.
And so you both work on, John and Liam, and so this plot, what size is this?
So between the two blocks, it's just a little bit over half an acre.
For the two?
Yeah, so it's about a quarter of an acre each block.
Okay, and you've set this up, so this is the one that needs to make a profit in the sense that it's paying your wages.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other one you're able to grow and give to a local charity.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's what I say. By doubling the amount of rows, we just have absolute abundance here at the moment.
So suddenly
crazy.
it becomes like really viable.
Oh, super
and again, this
vi-
is something we spoke with about Jackie at Blue Dog. It's about how do you grow, but also make it like worthwhile. You need to make enough money that you can pay your time and.
Definitely.
So well done. It's a huge shift.
Oh, it's a massive shift.
Huge.
Yeah, we're super proud of it too.
And yet it seems to have kept that beautiful Millen Farm feel to it, which is all that diversity, and you've got all the, that permaculture kind of, thing happening. You've got bees.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Very cool vibe.
Okay, so Liam, can you tell me we've got everything's being watered at the moment. Like, what are the systems you've got going here? Like, how do you? Has any of that changed from what was going on before?
Yeah, so as you can see in the background, what we're running through our irrigation system, we're using fertigation.
Okay.
But what we're doing is we're utilising a Korean system of organic farming called Jadam, which has been developed over a lot of years and is used extensively in Korea. And so what we're running through the fertigation system at the moment is essentially to kind of Australian viewers weed tea. So we collect all the excess that comes off the field and all of the grass that we mow and any of the weeds that we pull out. We put them in a 1,000-litre container and fill it full of water and leave it there for a week. And over the course of the week, it undergoes an anaerobic ferment and it breaks down. We're finding about 2/3 of the material that goes in is completely broken down within a week. And then we run it through our irrigation system and it just gets sprayed out straight into the field. So it's essentially the same as composting, but a lot quicker turnover, and it's because you're using plants, you get the full spectrum of nutrients, as opposed to selectively picking out certain ones. You get all the plants, all the nutrients that plants need to grow because you're using the plants themselves.
Because you're using the whole thing.
Yeah.
So you pull it because it's from the root. It's the whole weed.
Yeah.
It's the root to the tip.
Yeah. And also, obviously sometimes you get a bit of soil on the end when you're pulling it out. That just flushes straight back into the field as well.
Okay. So how does it work in a practical sense? You've got a big, like a tank of some kind.
Yeah, we've got an IBC, 1,000-litre container.
Okay, so that's creating the weed tea, if you like. And then how do you get that?
So we basically filter that into another IBC.
Okay.
And we have a device called a dosatron that allows us to put it out in a certain percentage. So the highest amount is 1 to 50.
1 to 50.
So we're pushing it out at 1 to 50. Every drop of water that comes out is 1/50th fertilizer, plant-based fertilizer.
So every time you water, is it coming from there, or you're also just watering just with regular water?
At the moment, yeah, every drop we're able to put the fertilizer out with it as well. But it's very, very weak, so it's not damaging. So and it's plant-based, it's complete spectrum, so it's not going to damage the plants anyway if you put out an excess. And also because we're fermenting it, we're putting out microbes, which is a really big part of what we're trying to do. We're also trying to increase the indigenous microbes in the soil.
Okay, what does that mean?
So basically what you do is you go out to somewhere that's really old growth, where it's been untouched by humans for a long time, and you try and find somewhere with a nice pile of leaves on top of the ground, and they're all kind of breaking down a little bit, and underneath that you take the soil out. It'll have little white bits of mycelium and it'll smell lovely. And what we do is we take about 2 buckets worth, add it to 2 kilos of mashed up boiled potatoes, and put it in 1,000 litres of water and leave that to ferment. Generally in the middle of summer it takes 3 to 5 days, and you'll see the bubbles slowly brewing on the surface. And as they start to peak, you know that you've multiplied the microbes as much as possible, and then they just come out through the fertilizer.
And then again, at 1 to 50, that mixes out again.
Yeah.
And what's the potato? Is that the starch? Is that giving
so
it
that's the energy
that
for the microbes to multiply?
Yeah, okay.
And the idea behind using the indigenous microbes is that they've obviously been in this area for millions of years. So they're perfectly adapted to the droughts and the floods and all the craziness that we deal with in Queensland. As opposed to a lot of farmers who are trying to get into microbes. You buy in stuff that's being made in a lab somewhere, and it's one very specific breed, or a couple of them. But we'll have millions of different varieties of bacteria and fungi and stuff.
And is this research kind of new, or is this sort of old style farming?
Jadam itself is based off Korean natural farming, which came around in the 60s. I think Jadam is probably the last 10 or 15, 20 years. And it's actually created by the son of the guy who invented Korean natural farming. And he had done it all his life, and a lot of the processes he thought were very long and involved and unnecessary, and he's basically streamlined everything to make it so that you can get stuff off your farm as opposed to having to get molasses that's grown somewhere else. And all of those types of things. You can grow some potatoes, you can grow all of your weeds, and you get all your nutrients off the farm.
Right, because often molasses is then what people would use if they're...
to increase the microbes and stuff like that.
Once the microbes are on, do they stay there, or we don't really know? Like, do you have to keep doing that?
I mean, it benefits to keep adding a greater diversity, because if you get it from different locations, you're going to get a greater diversity of them. As much as anything, it's about getting roots in the soil, because microbes are fed by the plants, so the plants produce glucose and feed it to the microbes in the soil, and then the microbes do everything else. They provide all the nutrients to the plant. So as long as you've got roots in the soil, you'll be feeding the microbes and they'll be multiplying.
So that's basically your system that you're using for fertilising. That's it? That's it?
Pretty much,
And that's your system for irrigation. That's where the name fertigation, right? Okay.
All in one.
So you can see we've completely closed the loop now.
Yeah.
All of the waste products that no longer exist here on the farm. Everything gets loops back and put back onto the farm.
Do you get many weeds though anymore? Because you would have had the weeds before, because I know that But
so
now that you
the new way of thinking with zero till or no till is that eventually by weeding those weeds out and using the new market gardening tools like the flame weeders and things, we can basically extinguish the amount of seeds that are germinating. By tilling the soil, we're bringing up the seeds of the past. Whereas if we're not tilling, we're leaving those seeds down underneath the ground where they will never germinate. So it's a really new way of thinking about market gardening.
So you're only ever turning over a little bit of the soil on the top to plant into.
And then you really quickly exhaust the seed bank in that tiny little top part.
Definitely.
And we're already seeing it in the top part of the field.
Definitely.
We've cycled through the top of the field like 3 or 4 times already, and the weeds are not even a tenth of what they were the first time we went through.
You see the weed pressures just gets less and less and less every time.
You might find that you don't have enough weeds for your weed tea.
We've spoken about it.
I know a home garden where it's got plenty of weeds growing. If you need some.
Yeah, you can always bring them down.
Okay, can you show? a little bit about what's growing here, and what were you talking about, the cycle of like what's happening? Are you
like,
cycling?
For example, with these lettuces over here, we're planting in blocks of 10 meters. So we've got 2 rows of lettuce, and they're 30 meters long, and we're planting 10 meter rows. So, and they take approximately 6 weeks to grow, 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
And so once we pull them out, within a week we're planting back into the same space. So
planting lettuce or another crop?
Yeah, no, we're at the moment we're sticking with the same things.
Okay.
Because that's one of the other things that they've begun to realise in no-till, that there is less, if not no need anymore for rotating the crop that you grow in the same space, because you're doing a lot less damage to the soil by not tilling.
And because you keep adding in the fertilizers anyway, so it's got enough.
Yeah, so we're adding all the nutrients. Any of the excess, because you don't take the whole of the lettuce. You'll often leave the bottom leaves, and so they get in the jadam and thrown back out again. So they're getting lettuce, nutrients.
Yeah. Okay. What else can we look at here? You want to run through? Maybe just let us know again what's in the field. Like what's actually growing. Like, so if you're in, locals know we're just north of Brisbane, so we're subtropics. It's the start of autumn. Like, what can we grow now? Like, I know many people, home gardeners.
So we're still on the cusp, I think, Suzanne. We're still on that cusp of being able to still get a last planting of zucchinis and cucumbers in. Maybe the last planting of tomatoes. But we're well and truly off planting silences now. So we're off planting the eggplants, the capsicums and the chilies. And we're moving into, so last week we planted the cauliflowers and the cabbages over in B block. So we're really moving into that winter crop cycle.
Okay,
but still
so
trying
we can start to get the winter,
the
cauliflowers.
Sure.
Does that include broccoli? Can we, or is it?
Yeah,
okay. Right,
definitely.
so it's not too hot. Okay. I think I always wait too late to get them in, and then I miss the. Yeah,
well, we start very early and finish quite late as well.
Yeah,
so we're always
you're pushing the boundaries.
Pushing the boundaries.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just run me through what's here again.
It's in the field.
Yeah.
So up at the very top is the salad mix. Okay. There's 5 rows of salad mix. We rotate through every 5 weeks. Then there's the lettuce that goes into the mix. Then you've got Asian greens, bok choy, pak choy and tatsoi, coriander, carrots. Here these empty beds are radish and salad turnip, some weedy lettuce, some more Asian greens, carrots, turnip and radish again. Then there's eggplant with basil interplanted. Below that we've got banana capsicum, jalapeno, capsicum, tomatoes, shallots. We've got rainbow chard, silver beet and kale, zucchini, cucumber and kohlrabi down the bottom.
My goodness.
I know, it's full on.
See,
just trying to remember it.
This is the dream, right, of the home gardener, like the dream of the home edible gardener, right, who thinks I could plant most things that I eat, right, and yet it's pretty hard to get to that. But what you're showing here is that you actually, you don't really need anything. It's probably potatoes. You don't have potatoes right now, but other than that,
we pretty much have everything.
Everything going.
Plus, we're very seasonal here, Suzanne. So we're subtropical. So we've got a lot of those Mediterranean things going in during the summer, but those brassicas obviously going in during our winter.
Yeah. So how much of this, what you've just talked about now, can be sort of transferred to the home, the backyard gardener who wants to have a productive vegetable patch?
All of it, I believe.
Okay. So
the fertiliser definitely.
The weed tea.
Yeah, the weed tea is definitely 100% very easy to take back to the home.
And same with the microbes, getting the indigenous microbes. There's also another technique in Jadam. You can use seawater. So you've got to ensure you water it down 100 to 1 just because of the salt. Yeah. But the interesting thing about seawater is that it has a very similar mineral content to, for example, human blood or most plants, because when we left the sea, we essentially brought the sea with us. Mm-hmm. So all those minor nutrients that the garden needs are found in seawater, which is freely available. And you can spray that out over your garden to get all those little nutrients that may be missing.
Okay, so if you lived by the ocean, you could do it regularly.
Yeah.
But if you're like us, you just do it after a summer holiday, maybe.
Oh, you don't need
Pack a
much at all.
bucket of-
No, you need 100 to 1. You need hardly anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So just a little bucket of seawater.
Yeah, and
Okay.
and with the weed tea, it's 10 to 1, and you just
Yeah.
put it in a watering can and just water it over your plants.
Yeah. So
It
on
smells-
the smaller scale, do it just in the watering can.
Yeah.
Although I really like the idea
Oh,
of
same. Everyone
having
does.
it. I know.
Saves so many hours.
Yeah. And just what do you call? What did you say the thing was called that
The dosatron?
dosatron?
Yeah.
I want a dosatron.
Yeah.
Like, just.
It's the coolest
Like,
name.
it's
Everyone
very
wants
cool.
a dosatron.
Okay, well, thank you so much for showing us through the new style,
Oh, yeah.
you know, Millen Farm, so including the
Mini farm project
mini farm
now.
project.
Yes.
So it's an amazing collaboration.
That's awesome. Yeah,
And,
we're very lucky.
Yeah, what an incredible setup. I can't wait to just really stay involved, and I love the whole ethos and the fact that you guys have set it up now like a really functional small scale farm that's supporting you, paying wages and going to our local charity.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
really setting some really great standards and inspiration for all of us. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to catch up with you again a little bit later in the year.
Cool.
But in the meantime, keep on going. I'll see you at the farmers market.
Wicked. Thank you.
And thank you again for joining us on the Sanford Edible Garden Trail. Stay tuned. We're going to a monthly cycle for a little while where we visit a new garden each month and we check out what they're growing in their backyard. And we are actually planning this year our first open edible garden day. To get that right. We wanted it last year, but we couldn't do it because of COVID. But this year we've got it planned. It's in May. Now, so stay tuned. We're going to have 5 amazing gardens that will be open where you can come and have a look at what the local gardener's doing, ask questions, and it'll be an amazing day. And let the cat out of the bag, but Millen Farm and the Mini Farm Project are going to be one of those locations. So you can come here and ask all the questions that you would like. So if you want to just, I guess, stay in touch with that, we've got a newsletter that we've just set up you can sign up to. Go to our Facebook page or also our website and you can sign up to the newsletter and we'll keep you informed. But I think it's 16th of May, it's a Sunday. Yeah, 16th of May this year, 2021. So thank you, check out our videos and we'll see you at the next garden. See you later.